Good day everyone. I'm here to discuss about the sense image, the definition in performing an activity. So sense image explores the five human senses: the sense of sight, the sense of sound, the sense of taste, the sense of touch, and the sense of smell. From birth to early childhood, children use their senses to explore and try to make sense of the world around them. They do this by touching, tasting, smelling, seeing, moving, and hearing. Children and even adults learn best and retain the most information when they engage their senses. Many of our favorite memories are associated with one or more of our senses. For instance, the smell of summer night campfire or a song you memorize the lyrics to with a childhood friend. Now, when your nostrils and eardrums are stimulated with those familiar smells and sounds, your brain triggers a flashback memory to those special times, providing opportunities for children to actively use their senses as they explore the world through sensory to brain development. This leads to a child's ability to complete more complex learning tasks and supports cognitive growth, language development, gross motor skills, social interaction, and problem solving skill. So in the class, there are some specific exercises involving the five senses. So the first one involves the sense of sight. Number one, enter a large room to look for your sweater. Number two, look for your sweater in a dark closet. Number three, go into your room to get your sweater. Number four, try to find your sweater among a dozen in the locker room. So the next one involves the sense of hearing. Number one, hear an explosion. Number two, listen a small sound and try to decide what it is. Number three, hear a popular song on the radio. So the next one is the sense of smell. Come home from school and smell cookies baking in the kitchen. Number two, walk in the woods and smell a campfire. Number three, smell different perfumes on a counter. Number four, smell something very unpleasant and try to decide. And the next one is the sense of taste. Number one, eat a piece of delicious chocolate candy. Number two, try a foreign food that you have never tasted before and decide that you like it. Number three, bake into a sour apple. Bite into a sour apple rather. So the last one is the sense of touch. Number one, touch a piece of velvet. Number two, touch a hot stove. Number three, touch or hold an ice cube. So what are the purpose of those activities? So what we are trying to do is to lead children into that will involve them in touching, seeing, tasting, hearing, and smelling the things in their world. We also want them to become involved in experiences that will lead to imagining, exploring, reasoning, inventing, experimenting, investigating so that these experiences will not only be rich themselves but lead to personal creative growth. So the sensory activities allow children to refine the threshold for different sensory information, helping their brain to create stronger connections to process and respond to sensory information. So the sensory images or the sense images lead us into imagination, that is the ability to create visual images in the mind's eye, which allow us to explore all sorts of images and ideas without being constrained by the limits of the physical world. This is how children begin to develop problem-solving skills, coming up with new possibilities, which develop important faculties in critical thinking that will help the child throughout life and can be beneficial on a play. It creates capable and resourceful children who create their own knowledge, It encourages learning through curiosity, exploration, creativity, enthusiasm, and self-examination. So allow me to read the poem of G. Barry Shepherd that suggests familiar reactions to the snow. So here it is. Snow is for stopping to, stomping on, bird watching in, licking off, looking off, sliding over, in under and through, and throwing at people who scull and curse you in the snow. It involves different senses, such as looking off, where it involves sense of sight, the looking at, the sense of a sight, and the licking off, which is the sense of taste, the bird watching in the sense of sight, and the people who scold and curse use the sense of hearing. So it creates sharp images on the reader's mind that stimulate the imagination, leading to characters, situations, and something into plot. So in performing an activity, there are no right or wrong order and no prescribed length of time the group should spend on one kind of exercise. Pantomime guaranteed to capture the interest of every player regardless of age it is making of doing something. Some suggestions are this. So the teacher allow the students to play a video game, to feed your dog, get dressed, choose food in a cafeteria. So, particularly in working with children, the activities suggested should be ones in their environment. It could be match the children's interest, knowledge, and abilities. Children must be free to express themselves in which an environment does not permit them to do so might see the children oppressing their need and attitudes. For example, washing clothes might be more familiar to these children than fishing on a brook and can therefore imagine and ask. So choosing familiar activities also help children to respect their own ideas and regard their own experience more positively. So we must allow children to express themselves by choosing their familiar activities to help them respect their ideas and choosing the match of their interests so that they can perform well on the stage. That would be all. Thank you.